What it do, Niner fam? Now, I want you guys' opinion. I want your opinion on these two receivers. Because to me, they were both good receivers. You know what I'm saying? One still is. I don't know what happened there. Let's start with Michael Crabtree. When Michael Crabtree came into the league, you got to remember, he did not want to be a 49er. Yes, the Niners were not going to pick him. You know what I'm saying? He came at the same era of Mike Singletary, and he was the best player at that position. So he kind of like fell into the Niners' lap, but he did not want to sign the contract. I think they were already in OTAs or preseason, whatever it was. He still hadn't signed the contract. You know what I'm saying? So they was like, all right, you're not going to sign the contract, go sit at home. You know what I'm saying? And when you're, because he wanted more money. He felt he was so good, he wanted more money. He thought he was going to get picked higher or whatever it was, but his stock kept dropping. The problem what he had was, if you getting picked by an NFL team, you need to be happy just to be on that team. You know what I'm saying? You need to be happy just to be on the team. And so, when you get drafted, really it's like a lottery ticket. It's basically a lottery ticket. You know what I'm saying? So he has this lottery ticket that he hasn't cashed in. See? So the Mike Singletary, the Niners was like, all right, you don't want to, you don't want to be drafted by us, or you don't want to come here. No problem. Go sit at home. So basically, sitting at home. He's like from Texas or something. You know what I'm saying? But and this is before the NIL money. So you basically got a lottery ticket that you ain't cashed in. So his family is on him. You better go sign. You better go sign. You better go sign. So he eventually signs. And when he comes to the Niners, a lot of the players were not happy. They were not happy because they like, hey, man, you should have been here. You know what I'm saying? Similar to this guy when he didn't get that big contract and he was going to practice and just sitting down. You know what I'm saying? But in this instance back then, they were like, oh, you don't want to be with the Niners. So, you know what I'm saying? When he did come and sign the contract, he was at practice, and he wore his Niner jerseys, but they used to make him put tape over the Niner logo. So the shirt, or if it said 49ers or on his helmet, he had to put tape over it. You know what I'm saying? So when the media talked to him, he had tape over it. You know what I'm saying? He had to do that for a couple of weeks. You can go look that up. He had to do that for a couple of weeks. You know what I'm saying? But that was the players getting on him. You know what I'm saying? Now later on, he ended up, wanting to be the Niner, what I'm saying, he's supposed to be, get them. You know what I'm saying? You got to remember, his quarterback was Alex Smith at first. The Mike Singletary Alex Smith. The Alex Smith that we didn't like. Yeah, we didn't really like Alex Smith. Alex Smith was getting coaches fired. You know what I'm saying? So he, because remember it was him, Vernon Davis, I think it was Delaney Walker, Anquan Bolden went over there. So, and at one point in time, you know what I'm saying, you had Randy Moss with the Niners, you know what I'm saying, at this time. You know what I'm saying, but when he got there, Michael Crabtree was good. He did have hands. You know what I'm saying? I questioned his heart. That was my thing. I questioned his heart. You know what I'm saying? Because when we played in that NFC Championship, he let Richard Sherman talk to him bad. It was ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? And then when he left the Niners, he go to the Raiders. And what's that? Aqib Talib from the Broncos ended up snatching his chain, beating him. I'm like, oh, man, this fool's a chump. You feel me? This fool's a chump. And then remember, he didn't want to be with the Niners no more after his contract. He left. You know what I'm saying? This fool's a chump. And the reason I say that is because the NFC Championship, I can't blame Kaepernick on that throw. Why are you throwing to him when you know he's covered by Richard Sherman and Cam Chancellor? I think it's Cam Chancellor. Didn't make any sense. Didn't make any sense. You know what I'm saying? And then in the Super Bowl, why are you throwing to this cat? You know what I'm saying? Run the ball. You have Frank Gore, Kendall Hunter, LaMichael James. You had a bunch of running backs. So, or Kaepernick could have ran. But that is another story. That's my take on this guy. On this guy. You know what I'm saying? Michael Crabtree. Now, to this guy. You feel me? When we drafted him, You got to remember, he was just like a wide receiver. He was like, all right, he's just a good wide receiver, you know what I'm saying? But in the Shanahan offense, he did not want to block. He did not want to block, you know what I'm saying? He just thought he was too good to block. So Shanahan, if you look at his first year, Shanahan was like, okay, sit on the bench. You know what I'm saying? So as he sat on the bench, he did a couple of like punt returns or kick returns, but that season, he didn't play him. He didn't play him. You don't want to block? This is what it is. So the whole season, he really didn't play. Look at his first year. You know what I'm saying? He didn't really get no playing time like that. You know what I'm saying? So the next season, I think it was the next season, where, you know, okay, he had a little aggressiveness to him. He had a little aggressiveness to him. You could see it. It's like, damn, this fool's trying to fight Fred Warner, and he's trying to, you know, he's trying to fight down. It wasn't Bosa. I think it was Armstead. He was just getting into it with everybody at practice, and it's like he's so aggressive. I'm like, well, where the hell did he get this from? But I was like, that's good. I want to see that on the field. And you got to remember when we played the Steelers, that first game was that Patrick Peterson was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to do this to Purdy. I'm going to pick him off. I'm going to do this, that, and the other, and I'm going to shut down aiyuk. With the Purdy and aiyuk connection was unstoppable. It was literally unstoppable when they're on point, okay? That was the thing. When they're on point, it's unstoppable. Okay, but the problem is you still got to have another receiver, some type of receiver on the side, you feel me? And then people start getting, I had a few injuries or whatever it was, but once they got back on track, you seen what it looked like the whole season, all the way until we got to the Super Bowl, you know what I'm saying? Because that man-to-man coverage and then the holding and all the other calls that weren't being called on the Chiefs in the Super Bowl kind of limited him. You know what I'm saying? That's why, you know, you need another receiver. You say, yeah, you got Debo. We had Debo, but, you know, for what Debo's supposed to do, you know what I'm saying? But he's supposed to be a number one guy, you know what I'm saying? So this year, you got to remember, we went and got another a free agent blocking tight end. So that's going to free up Kittle to go back to receiving like he was doing. Remember that game we played in with the Saints? Against the Saints, and Kittle was a beast. He won that game. That was with Garoppolo, but he won that game basically for us. You feel me? Kittle was a beast. Kittle was like a couple of yards away from breaking Shannon Sharp's all-time record. You know what I'm saying? But when the offensive line started getting in shambles, he had to block. So now you get a blocking tight end, make him block, have Kittle start going out a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? Juwan Jennings is going to be a nice threat this year, a nice threat. Now that he knows he's going to be the guy, you know what I'm saying? And I think Purdy like going to him. So, but they said he should be ready by game one. They said he should be ready by game one. His problem was last year, sitting down, not practicing, worrying about money. You already got money. You already got money. You know what I'm saying? And then it all went bad for him, you know what I'm saying? You worried about money. You going on all these talk shows talking about the Niners. You practice, but you ain't practicing. You just sitting down. I mean, do you really want to be a Niner? I'm saying you want to go to the Commanders. You want to go to the Steelers. And I think those are just threats to make the Niners want to sign them. You feel me? That's why when Debo tried to do that threat, Niners like, bye. You know what I'm saying? So I have my issues with this guy. The Niners signed him to a contract, so he gets a chance to redeem himself. You know what I'm saying? He get a chance to redeem himself. But Niners went through some stuff with this cat too. So, but he gets a chance to redeem himself. This year, he get a chance to redeem himself. You feel me? So that's my take on these two receivers. I'm saying, let me know which one you think is the better receiver. Now, I think if you put Crabtree in the Shanahan offense, he would be nice, especially with Shanahan. He would be nice. I think that. You know what I'm saying? Because he had Kaepernick, totally different. Shanahan office with Purdy, he would be nice. You know what I'm saying? But if you flipped him and put him with, if you put this guy with Kaepernick, I don't think it would work. I don't think it would work. You feel me? Because Garoppolo, it was Garoppolo, Debo's Garoppolo's guy. You know what I'm saying? So let me know what y'all think. Leave it in the comments. Peace. I'm out of here.